Today, I'm going to talk to you about how to use your creative brain to get to the results of your goals faster and with more energy left in your tank. I'm Missy Hughes, and I'm a productivity coach. I help you focus your thoughts and your energy so that you can get things done. So use the link in the comments to this video to get weekly tips for getting things done and to sign up for a consult with me. So you have a goal, you have this desire to go somewhere, and you probably even make a plan to get there. But the path is wrought with a lot of things along the way. It's typically not a straight path from what you want to achieving it. You have to learn a skill first to achieve the goal that you don't have already. If you already had the skill and you were already able to employ that skill, you'd already have the result. So, in this learning process, I want to teach you how to keep your mind in the most creative space versus in a space of fear and questioning. Now, I'm going to show you sort of two paths that goals often take. So, when you start, so you have the path of a goal, you have a start point, and you have your completed goal. So, along the way, you get started. There is your sort of straight line that you want to happen, right? In that straight line, you take some action, you evaluate. You take more action, you see how it goes. You take more action, you kind of maybe make some tweaks, you celebrate what's winning, what's working, you learn from what's not working, you believe in your goal, you keep taking action, you evaluate, keep looking at what's working, what's not working, and you complete your goal. This is how we think goals go, right? This is how we think they work in our minds. This is very objective. I'm going to do things that's going to have a result. I'm going to do more things, and eventually I'll have my goal. However, our brains work a little bit differently, and there's more at play than just simple actions taken and then we achieve our goal. So we start our goal and then we have some doubt. We take this detour on our path, right? It's like you're driving along the interstate and you pull off, and there's this beautiful, historical marker, maybe. And this marker is doubt. Am I doing this properly? Is this going to work? Is this the right goal? And so then you keep going and you go into that questioning of the goal. Maybe I'm not working towards the right thing. I don't know if I'm going to be able to accomplish this actual goal. But you keep working, and then you go into this next detour. I don't really know. I don't know if I made the right decision. I don't know if this goal is the right decision. I don't know I don't know what to do next. Meanwhile, in all of these scenic tours, we have the opportunity to come back to these evaluations, this objective view of the path. But typically, even though we come back to our objective side, we also dig back into these detours too. So from I don't know, then we start taking this action. We're doing a lot of things, but we get overwhelmed. We lose a little bit of clarity. We lose a little bit of focus of what we should. And when we think, I don't know what to do next, we take this little pause. It all feels overwhelming. It all feels like too much. And we start to sort of not believe in our capacity to achieve what's happening. So from this overwhelm, we question our goal. So we questioned our goal up here. We're questioning ourselves down here. So then you start saying, do I actually have the capacity to do this? And then you start going again and you start thinking, what if you get into sort of disaster dreams? What if this doesn't work? The worst case scenario becomes very apparent. I'm a disaster. This is a disaster. And that's all you can focus on. So then you think, I'm going to change my goal. I'm going to do something differently. Maybe my goal was to make this amount of money. I'm going to change my goal and make it this amount of money. Or maybe I'm looking for this health marker. I don't think it's not working. I'm not going to get there. I'm going to change the goal. Or maybe I start working towards something completely different altogether. But I'm making a new decision here. But then some things happen as I'm taking action. Some things work well, some things don't. And I just get to this place where I'm like, I don't know. This feels terrible. I'm going to take a break and I stop working. But then I get going again. And again, some things go well, some things don't go well. And when they don't go well, I start blaming. This person didn't do what was expected, or this circumstance was out of control. It's the weather, it's the economy, it's the government, it's anything other than me and what my brain can create. So we start blaming. Then from there, we sort of run into, oh my gosh, I'm putting all this time into this, but it's not going well. I'm wasting time. So now we start questioning our time. After we waste time, well, then we're like, well, I got to giddy up. And so now I'm taking urgent action. I'm like a bull in a china shop. I'm knocking things down because I'm just urgent to get things done. And now I'm in a hurry. And that hurry makes me a little bit careless. It makes me a little bit reckless. And it feels very pressurized. So then I keep going and it's just not going well. And I decide to give up. This is torture. It's not worth it. So when we're in this middle zone where we're in all of these detours, what happens is our brains are terrified, right? Whenever we try to build any new skill, it is literally scary to our brains. Our survival brain is based on, once again, seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and making things efficient, repeating. So when we're learning this new skill, we're not repeating what we already knew that kept us alive. That feels very dangerous to our survival brain. So when we start to feel that stress, when we feel that uncertainty, the brain says, hang on, you better just get back in that cave where you survived, where you do what you know, and stop this moving forward. And that's when we're questioning, we're doubting, we're overwhelmed because that fear kicks in and says you're not doing it right. The challenge with that is, though, when you are giving the energy into the fear, into the doubt, into the questioning, into the overwhelm, your creative brain is not present. That's not what's working back here in your survival brain. Your creative brain is in this part. It's in the prefrontal cortex. It's up here in the front, taking a look out. What's around the horizon? What's in the neck around the next bend? What's out there? I want to explore. I want to create. I want to learn. I want to grow. Your survival brain says that sounds like a terrible idea. Let's change our goals so that you don't move forward and kill yourself out there. But the truth is, when we look, this is all very broad. All of this fear goes to this very broad place where you get to just be afraid, but you don't get to be specific. This is terrible. I'm terrible. It's all going to go in terrible places. When you come out here to this space, you get to see specifically, okay, if this is terrible, what exactly is terrible? But first, what's working? Because not everything's terrible. So start looking for what's working. When you evaluate, first thing to do is look for what's working. Not everything's terrible. What's working? What allowed you to get to this point and pause? Something allowed you to get there. So what's working is number one. What's not working is number two. Be specific. It's terrible. I'm terrible. Okay, I'm terrible because I made this decision, this decision, this decision, and they didn't work. Or it's terrible because, and then get specific. What didn't work? Then you get to learn, right? So when you're learning, you're saying, oh, that didn't work. Maybe it's because of this. Let me try this little bit of tweak, little bitty thing, just a little bit of a difference. And let's go again. Let's have another go at it. And then we'll evaluate again. We'll look again at what's working, what's not working. What can I do differently? And it doesn't mean that you don't dip into some of this questioning even when you're taking action. So the biggest thing that I want to impart, this middle ground seems horrible. It's not fun, and that's true. However, it's not wrong. When we make ourselves wrong for doubting, then we get to feel that pressure of, you're doubting. That already feels terrible, and you're wrong. So you're more terrible, right? We put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We have a lot of negative self talk, a lot of you're not doing it right, questioning your goal, questioning yourself, being in the worst case scenario. All of those things take a lot of energy. And when you're putting your energy into those things, think about it if you had a bucket with a hole in it and you're always looking in that bucket of this is wrong. I don't know if it's right. And the whole and it all the energy you're putting in is just filtering right out. It's just flowing right out. It's going right out of the bottom. So you keep pouring energy in, you keep asking all these questions, but it keeps pouring out. You're never getting to your goal when you're in overwhelm because most of the time you stop working, wherever that is. You give a pause when you're overwhelmed. You give a pause when you're doubting, but that doubt doesn't lead to specific adjustments. It just leads to, drain, go energy down the drain. So if this isn't wrong, even though it feels terrible, well, what do I do with that? You allow it to be like your low get your gas meter, right? When your tank looks empty, that little orange light comes on and you can say, "Oh, let me go out here to the gas station. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to fill up my tank. There are no holes in these tanks." So go to the gas station, you refill your tank, you evaluate, you see what's working, you get specific. How you garner your energy is you get specific. What's working, what's not working, what am I going to do differently? The reason this allows you to conserve energy is because you decide once. When you're in here, you're deciding over and over and over again, am I right for this? Is this right for me? What do I do? When you're out here, you decide once. This is right for me. I'm right for this. I believe in my capacity to learn a new skill to complete this goal. So if I stay in belief of me, I can do this. In belief of my goal, I think it's a good goal. Then I get to just keep going. I get to put my energy into learning instead of putting my energy into being afraid. So when I'm putting my energy into learning, I'm using data. I'm checking, I'm adding it up. I'm saying, okay, it worked, it didn't work. I'm collecting all this data. I'm taking action. I'm evaluating the actions. I'm not evaluating me as a worthy subject. I'm not evaluating my goal as a worthy endeavor. I'm just evaluating the data, the action taken, and then I keep going. When I go back into the start point every time, now I've got to go back. I've got to go back. I've got to go back. I'm losing so much energy that way. So it's not wrong to doubt. It's a fill your tank sign. It's just the light coming on your gas meter. It's not, and nothing wrong has happened. You just got to go fill your tank. You just have to evaluate. And by evaluating, you're getting specific. So the result of this process of going back to the outside, taking this subjective fear and going to the objective evaluation, you get to conserve your energy. You get to keep your brain out of the fear side and into the, oh, let's create this solution. Let's look at that horizon. Let's see what's around that bend. And now you get to keep growing. You get to spend more time creative instead of all that time fearful, stopping, waiting, holding on, gripping tight, urgently moving, right? You get to stay in solution zone versus fear. It's not wrong to fear. You just have to direct it. You direct it right back out here. So you're going to get to your goal faster. You're going to have more energy in your tank, and you're actually going to enjoy the process more because you're not gripped by stress all of the time. You're in curiosity and you're looking for the things that are working and you're finding them. Whatever you look for, you'll find. When you look for things that aren't working, you'll find them too. But when you're looking for disasters, you can get stuck in them. So you want to get stuck in the data that's actually happening that will allow you to learn and move forward. So this isn't a straight line. You're going to take detours and you just come right back out and evaluate. Thank you for being here. Sign up, use that link to sign up for my weekly tips and come have a consult with me so that we can look at your goals and see where you're draining energy out of that bucket and where you can use your data to really move forward. Thank you for being here.